Keeping up with developments in finance, business, and economics can be overwhelming. It seems like everything is becoming an excuse to gamble, while corporate consolidation and political influence drive massive asset bubbles, increasing wealth inequality, spiraling consumer debt, diminishing savings, stagnating wages, unaffordable real estate, and deepening generational wealth divides. These issues are all intertwined, often perpetuated by questionable government programs. It's enough to make anyone feel discouraged. But remember, it could always be worse. We could be in Canada. And if that wasn't concerning enough, there's a country pushing these issues to new extremes, serving as a warning for what could be ahead. Let's call it Canada, with snakes around 200,000 electronic poker machines. Yes, we're talking about Australia, where pokies, electronic poker machines, are as ubiquitous as bars, clubs, and casinos. With strict loss limits of $100 per day and $5,000 per year, Australia is leading the pack in one of the worst gambling environments on record. On top of that, the average home in Australia costs 8 times the median household income, and Sydney's rental market is worsening, with prices climbing even higher. It's also been revealed that taxpayer money is being funneled into less than ideal programs. Previously, Credit Suisse published a report not just looking at GDP per capita, which measures the output of the average person, but also analyzing people's wealth accumulation over time. This report revealed that while Australians have lower income than Americans, they are among the wealthiest people globally. Despite earning less than Americans, Australians consistently rank among the wealthiest, only behind Luxembourg. And what's more, the Australian median net worth is more than twice that of an American in a similar financial position. So why, with all these issues, does the title of this piece suggest Australia may not be as lucky as it seems? Well, it's all about the narrow way Australians are building wealth. Australia has gotten rich through just a few key industries, particularly natural resource extraction, and has largely focused on keeping these industries alive at any cost, often at the expense of long-term sustainability. While the country has succeeded in mining and resource-based industries, Australia's economic complexity, essentially how varied its exports are, is alarmingly low. With fewer innovative industries and an over-reliance on natural resources, Australia's economy is vulnerable. The mining sector, rather than tech or advanced manufacturing, has been the safer bet for investors. And though Australia has made significant strides in technological advancements, its failure to commercialize those innovations has kept it trailing behind the rest of the world. Take, for instance, the country's gambling industry. Australians lose nearly $1,000 per person annually to various forms of betting. Australia's love affair with gambling, ranging from pokies in pubs to sports betting, has caused widespread social problems, from crime to addiction. Despite the damage, Australia's regulatory response has been tepid. The powerful gambling lobby has successfully resisted significant regulation, preserving a massive industry that continues to harm at-risk individuals. At the same time, the resource boom has caused issues with economic distribution. Much of the revenue from mining has gone to foreign companies, leaving the country dependent on external entities. The Australian government has been reluctant to make significant changes to this system, afraid of destabilizing its economy. But here's the kicker: Australia's wealth isn't as sustainable as it seems. The country's housing market is a perfect example. Real estate prices are so high that the average Australian struggles to buy a home, with many waiting until later in life to make their first purchase. The situation has become so dire that the primary use of retirement savings is to pay off mortgages, keeping families tied to massive debt even into their retirement years. The Australian government also supports high-income earners in real estate investment, allowing them to offset personal income taxes through property depreciation. This system, known as negative gearing, encourages further speculation, driving up home prices and exacerbating wealth inequality. Now you may wonder, how did Australia become so wealthy? It wasn't just home prices. Australia has a system called superannuation, a mandatory retirement savings program that forces workers to save a portion of their salary for retirement. This system has accumulated massive wealth, but it has also compounded Australia's issues. Many workers find themselves investing in real estate, not because it's the best option, but because it's the only viable one. The country's superannuation funds have grown so large that they now mostly flow into international markets, notably the US, fueling American business growth. In effect, Australia is exporting its wealth without using it to diversify and strengthen its own economy. Finally, the real estate market is not just a result of investor speculation. It's supported by a combination of high taxes, high immigration, and policies that have inflated the housing bubble. With taxes on earned income being some of the highest in the world, Australians have been incentivized to invest in real estate to offset their tax burden. Another example of how Australia's system has fueled the very problems it now faces. Australia has been incredibly lucky, but it has also set itself up for serious challenges down the road. The future may look good now, but the economic house of cards is built on unsustainable foundations. While Australia has a strong banking sector, its economy is deeply tied to overvalued housing, high debt, and stagnant wages, with workers taxed heavily and businesses struggling to survive. For anyone living in Australia, this might be a tough pill to swallow, but remember, it could always be worse.